What's up everyone, and you're welcome back to another edition of smartphone graphic designing tutorial on our channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and if you're old here, thank you so much for coming back. So in today's tutorial, we are going to design a simple birthday flyer like this one, and at the end of the tutorial I'm going to show you how to transform it into this form. All right, so without wasting much time, let's get started. So you already know that we are using Pixellab for this tutorial, and the first thing that we are going to do after opening our Pixellab is to import some shape just to prepare the background for our work. So let's tap on import and pick the image from our gallery, and I'm going to leave the link in the description so that you can go ahead and download this image and use it as well. Alright, so having selected the image like this, we just tap on a check mark right here. Once I imported the shape right here into the working area, what I'll have to do is to remove the black area around the shape. This shape is basically having a black area around it. Let me change the background of our main work so that you see the exact color of it. So I'll change the background of our main work to white so that you see that the shape we imported is having a dark area around it. So here is it. You can now see that the shape we imported is having a dark area around it. Now, because we will not be using the white of like the white form of this shape, we first of all have to remove the black area so that we apply color to it. If we happen not to remove the color, the black side of it, and we apply the color will be applied to all the shape, which actually is not what we want. Okay, so with our shape selected like this, let's go to, so we'll come back to erase color and enable it. Once we enable it, you will see that the white part will be removed. All right, the white portion will be automatically selected. Now what we have to do next is to tap on the color picker and tap on the dark area or the black area and tap on the check mark right here. So you can see that the dark area is gone, but not completely. So we just have to increase the tolerance a bit so that we get the black area off like this. Once you are done with it like this, just tap on a check mark again and you are good to go. Now, having done it like this, the next thing to do is to position it like this. Once you position it at the corner right here, the next thing we are going to do is to add color to it, and preferably I'll be adding a gradient. Okay, and I'll give you the color code for the gradient so that you can use it. Now this is the gradient I will be using for the work. So if you want to set the same gradient, then let me just give you the code. Now the code for one side is 6#. Okay, you put hashtag then 620033. That's the code for the far right side, and when you come to the far left side, the code is B10960. so that's the code. You can go ahead and input them into your Pixellab, then you get the same gradient that I'm using right here. Okay, so with this selected like this, the next thing to do is to tap on a check mark and come back to the last icon at the bottom here. Now what we are going to do here is to increase the noise of the background. Okay, so we enable noise and we work on it just to make sure that we have a nice looking background. Okay, now having enabled the noise, what we are going to do next is to just lock this layer so that it doesn't disturb us. Now having locked the layer, we are going to import a white shape. Okay, once we imported a white shape, we just tap on a check mark, then send it back by tapping on to back. Now once we send it to the back, we'll decrease the opacity a bit. Okay, we'll decrease the opacity of it a bit to make sure that it looks kind of okay for us. Now we'll go ahead and lock it as well. Now having locked it, you can go ahead and import your picture. Right, the picture that you'll be using for the birthday flyer, you import a picture. So in my case, I've already have some picture being downloaded right here, and I've already removed the background of it, so I'm going to import it and use. So here is the picture I'll be using. You can use any other picture at all that you like, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean that you should use this particular picture. So I'll just position it right here like this, and after that I'll start typing whatever I want to type. So I'll go for the A icon over here, then I'll tap on text. Having tapped on text, I'll tap on edits. With the edit selected, I'll delete this text, then I'll type right here happy. Alright, I'll just type happy, then increase the size of it a bit like this. Then after that I'll select a particular font, which probably will be Montserrat. I like using Montserrat for all my designs. I don't know if you've taken notes of that. So I'll select Montserrat black and put it right here. Now what I would like to do next is to make sure that I use the perspective tool. Now why do I need a perspective tool? I just want to increase the size of the happy text that I've written over here. So I'll also go ahead and use the grid. Now the grid will help me to make sure that I'm doing perfectly what I really want to do, okay? So I'll just have to make sure that everything is intact, that I did not go off track. Alright, so I'll enable this one, the perspective. Right after enabling it, then I can pull this down and this also down. Okay, so I'll adjust the grid again to be sure that my things are in form. Okay, so you just have to play around this and make sure that you get a nice test. Once you've gotten a nice test like this, then you are good to go. Okay, alright, so this is okay for me. I'll just tap on a check mark, then I'll go ahead and change the color of the text. Preferably I'll use the gradient as well, so I'm going with the same gradient. Okay, now I can take off my grid tool for now, then I'll just have to adjust this a bit. Now with that done, the next text to enter is birthday, and you know how I'm going to do it already. I'll just write birthday, make it bold, then bring it down here. Now once I bring it here, I also use a font called Montserrat, but this time not the Montserrat black. Okay, I'm gonna use Montserrat bold, then I'll reduce the size of it. All the way down, so let's say 2021, yeah, there about that range. Okay, I will still have to reduce it more because I want it to be in line with the P, the second P before the Y. I want it to be in line with that P, so I'll still reduce the size of it. Okay, so I just have to do this until I get exactly what I want. Okay, I think I'm okay now. The next thing to do is to change the color of it as well, and already I'm going to use the gradient. So I have happy birthday over here, and I'll enter the person's name. Alright, this is just an imaginary name that I'm going to input over here. So I'll probably input like Robert V, and I'll make the text this one capitalized. Then after that I'll bring it down here, then change the color to white. Once I change the color to white, I'll change the font also to Montserrat Bold. Then after that, I'll add a background to the text by tapping on background, and I'll enable it like this. Now the background, I'll make it black, alright, for the sake of contrast. So once you enable the background, the next thing to do is to either increase the left padding of the background and also the right padding of the background, just to make sure that everything looks kind of perfect. Okay, so once you're done with that, you just have to position it nicely. Depending on the picture that you're using, you just have to position it to fit well. All right, so having positioned it this way, I'll tap onto back so that I send it backward, or better still, I'll just have to come to the layer panel, then with my hand on the dots over here, I'll just pull it down beneath the image. Okay, like this. I hope you can see right now that the Robert V has gone below the man's image right there. Okay, so simply that's it. So the next thing to enter probably the person's date of birth, so I'll just put in 10th April 2021. Alright, so assume this is what we want. I'll just input it over there, then pick a color, preferably I'll use black. Then I'll go for my font as well, which is Montserrat Bold. So with the font selected, I'll just have to reduce the size of the text a bit. Okay, yeah, 20 is okay. Then I'll position it right here. Okay, with this done, I'll make a copy of this text and write anniversary. So anniversary. This time around, the color will be white. So this is how to design a simple birthday flyer like this, and the next thing I'm going to show you is how to make it look popping, like having some kind of shadows and the rest beneath it. Alright, so this is a simple birthday flyer that we can design. So let's quickly save this and go ahead with other thing that we want to do. So I want to save it as image. Probably I will choose ultra whenever I'm saving for the quality. So once the image is being rendered and saved properly, the next thing that we'll do is to apply the shadow effect. Alright, so let's just wait for the image to finish rendering. Alright, so with our image saved successfully, let's just go ahead and clear this since we will not be needing it. So let's tap on default and tap on OK. Alright, so let's delete this text. Once we delete this text, we can equally go ahead and change the background of this working space to either white or whichever one we want. Okay, and we can also change the size. Okay, let's say you want to use it as YouTube thumbnail, you can come to image size, then tap on this, then you go ahead and select YouTube thumbnail. All right, assume this is what you want. All right, so this is how it's going to be. Now with this done, you can import whichever background that you want to use. In my case, I've already made a background. That's like I've blurred the image of the birthday flyer I've designed. Okay, so I'm just going to use the same image. Now when I come here, I'll use YouTube thumbnail size, which is 16 by 9. Okay, with the 16 by 9 selected, I'll tap on OK. Now you can see that it has fit perfectly onto my working area. That's pretty much cool. Okay, now if you don't want to do it this way, there is another way you can equally do it. So let me just tap on the back arrow, so we have empty area. Now if you want to put your blurred image or whichever background you want to use on the work, whereby you can equally edit it, just do not use the last option here, but rather come back to this place and use import. So when you import the file, this is what you are going to do. With the file selected, tap on 16:9. Alright, 16:9, then you select any other part that you want to use, then tap on the check mark, then you come to relative size, stretch it, then it fits perfectly. Now the reason why you can use this thing to manipulate your background is the opacity, right? So you can come here and reduce the opacity of it or increase it, just to make sure that you have a nice looking background for your work. So with this done, I think this is okay for me, so I'll just tap on OK. Then I'll go ahead and lock this layer so that it does not disturb me. Now the next thing to do is to import probably the picture we've designed, that's the birthday flyer, is to import it and use. So we'll select our birthday flyer and tap on OK. Now with the birthday flyer selected, we just have to reduce the size of it a bit. Okay, then rotate it a bit as well. You can make a copy of it, then tap on crop. Once you tap on crop, tap on this icon, then tap on OK. Now with this done, this is how your image is going to look like. Okay, so you just have to put it right here beneath it, then reduce the opacity of it a bit. Reduce the opacity until you are okay with it. Now with this done, let's just add some shadow to it. So let's tap on stickers. With the stickers selected, we have this white image appearing over here. Now just tap any area in your working area. Do not tap on a check mark, but tap on any area in your working space. Now then tap back on this to select it. Once you select it, go back to color, then select black for it, because you want to make it as a shadow. You got to make it black. Okay, so we just tap on the layer panel, then bring it down here. Now you can see this is appearing as a shadow casted beneath our work, our birthday flyer, right? And there's another reflection downwards. So this is how to do it basically, and once you are done, you just have to save it as usual as image. So once you save it, then you are good to go. Alright, so thank you so much for watching this tutorial, and I hope to see you in the next tutorial. Bless up.